Thanks for tuning into this presentation of the NBA on 2K Sports. I'm Damon Bruce. Friday night in the NBA, it'll be Derrick Rose and the Chicago Bulls facing off against Kyrie Irving and the Cleveland Cavaliers. And now let's send it out to Kevin Harlan, Steve Kerr, Clark Kellogg, and Doris Burke. I'll see you at halftime, everybody.
Just earlier, the fans on their feet as the national anthem rang out throughout the arena. It's game time in Cleveland as the crowd is filling up the Quicken Loans Arena. A quick check of our starting lineups. State Farm shows who will hit the floor first. And guys, check out Joakim Noah here. What do you expect from him?
Well, the big thing with Noah, Kevin, is that he's a hustle player. He gets on the glass. He's a tremendous offensive rebounder. His long arms allow him to block shots defensively, get out and cover pick and roll with those quick feet. So this is a player who does a lot of things well.
And that dedication also manifests itself on the court, Steve. I mean, Joe has said himself, hey, I don't have the most talent. So he's really embraced, I'm going to work harder mentality.
Looking at Chicago, they want to turn it around after that loss to Sacramento. And they took that loss to just 1 point. Those close ones hurt the most.
Yeah, it was tough to see that one coming, really, because I thought that was a game they were going to win. The final score really caught a lot of people off guard.
Yeah, but I think they really tightened up at the end, Steve. I think they were trying too hard to avoid the upset instead of focusing on going after the win.
So the Chicago Bulls are able to put up the first points on the board. And that one's going over.
Well, you have to play him. He's just too good. Well, Kyrie Irving is just a tremendous talent. He's still very young. In fact, he didn't turn 20 until March. And in fact, last year, Byron Scott always teased him and told him his breath smelled of baby formula.
Please.
No, there's a sweet smell to baby formula.
I know there is.
There's an innocence to that baby formula. The point being made is that he's young.
Yeah, is the point. Right.
Now, here is Irving. Carlos Boozer unable to get his shot to go. Here's Thompson, and he lays it straight in.
What a play. The hoop plus the horn.
Excellent concentration on the finish. That's big time.
And as we talk about Kyrie Irving, he's young, and yet he seems mature beyond his years. Wouldn't you say, Clark?
I agree with you there, Kevin. A calm, unflappable demeanor on and off the court. Credit his dad, who raised him that way, he and his sister, and that's what you want from your leader at the point guard position. You don't want a guy that's emotionally up and down. You need an even-keeled, mature, steady hand at that point guard here.
First 1:30 gone here in the first quarter. Now let's send it down to Doris Burke, who is able to talk with Byron Scott.
He said that their defensive focus, no surprise, will be trying to keep Derrick Rose out of the lane. He added, "You know he's come a long way as an outside shooter, but he's a pick-your-poison type of player. We can't let him get into the paint." Makes sense, Kevin.
Thanks, Doris. Count the bucket.
He is always so in control, guys. Even when he's going hard to the hoop, very skilled finisher.
Cleveland with the ball. Defeated by the Wizards in their last game, they'll try to put that one behind them.
Yeah, their offense struggled for almost that entire game. You know, whenever they did start to put together something during a decent stretch, it just seemed to end just as quickly as it began.
Yeah, but even so, there weren't many of those decent stretches. I mean, talk about being in a rut.
Now here's Boozer after Dion Waiters' miss.
For another year in a row, the Bulls were the cream of the crop in the East. Their mark was 38-10, the best of any team against their own conference.
Defensive rebound. Irving kicks to Varejao. Good, and the assist goes to Irving. Just over 2.5 minutes played here so far in the first quarter. Hamilton outside. And it's Dion Waiters with the foul. That's his first foul. This year will be tougher with the injury to Derrick Rose, but the Bulls have shown that they are always going to be tough in the East. That Steve is never going to leave it.
Well, the strength of this club, guys, is obviously Rose on offense, but it's the bigs defensively. Noah, Sheik last year, and Gibson were so good as a tandem coming off the bench. That length and size and athleticism was a major factor for that club.
Cavaliers leading. This is their first chance to take a look at the Bulls this season.
Well, these are a pair of conference rivals that are going to be very familiar with each other by the end of the season. This is just the first of 4 games they'll see each other.
Starting out this series, Clark, they're just getting a feel for each other, feeling out this year's roster.
That's exactly right, Kevin. You know, in the early season, you do a little scouting. This is where you get your bearings and kind of figure out what you need to do to beat those guys. I love these rivals.
Free throw, good, Irving.
How about the trade that Cleveland made a year and a half ago with the Clippers? They basically gave up Mo Williams. They got Baron Davis and the #1 overall pick in the draft, which turned into Kyrie Irving. So pretty good exchange there.
You know, the Cavaliers released Baron Davis, freeing up cap space. Davis, of course, eventually signed with the New York Knicks. It really helped them accelerate in Cleveland, Clark, the rebuilding process. And, of course, that being from where you're from, I'm sure you can really identify with what they're trying to do. And, you have a soft spot in your heart for them.
Without question, Cleveland is my hometown. I always want to see that team do well. And a fresh start, good young rookies, cap space, they're on their way.
And there's the call on Kyrie Irving. That is his first foul of the game. First quarter, we're about 3.5 minutes in.
Well, they find themselves with a big deficit here in the first. One category that jumps out at me, second chance point. Only one bucket for him.
Thompson with the bucket.
What a play. The hoop plus the arm.
Excellent concentration on the finish. That's big time.
But what do you think they need to do to get back in the game?
Well, Kevin, one thing, they've got plenty of time, that's for sure. And I think establishing their inside presence, picking up the intensity and the effort, creating more hustle opportunities, and then rebounding the basketball. That's a lot, but they've got a lot of work to do.
Sounds like a good recipe. Bulls making a switch here. Gibson's checked in, and Noah backs down. He dishes it to Gibson. So the whistle blows on the shot, and 2 free throws for the content right there.
Well, if you're a Bulls fan, you've got to love Taj Gibson. Great defender. He can rebound, block shots, and got a nice mid-range jump shot. Incredibly versatile as a defender. One of the keys to that Bulls defense.
He misses the free throw. We'll talk about Taj Gibson out of USC. And we've said it before, but What a steal, Clark, with the 26th pick in the draft.
And, you know, that's a big part of how you become a contender. You need star talent, certainly, Kevin. We know that. But you also need to be able to draft some players that play above their draft pick. He certainly is one of those guys. Very versatile, tough-minded, a good two-way player.
And a great start offensively.
Yeah, they come out strong. I mean, really scoring and playing with confidence.
And let's go to the 2K leaderboard to see the teams that blocked the most shots in the NBA last year. The Bulls third.
Yeah, so much of their defense revolved around their ability to block shots in the low post. That's why their numbers were so good last season.
And it's the Bulls with the ball. Trailing here by 8. There's the dish to Dang. Shoots over Miles. And there's Dang. That's good on the assist from Richard Hamilton.
And you look at Bulls head coach Tom Thibodeau, considered by a lot of people to be the architect of the defensive philosophies that have been embraced by most of the league. And that is loading the strong side of the floor in the half court, and kind of zoning up, basically, and then sending the ball handler baseline into help down on the block.
Pass to Noah. And the rebound goes to the Cavaliers. Waiters pass it to Miles. Irving. And he lays it up and in. Irving's got 10. Well, Steve, going back to Coach Tom Thibodeau, our listeners might say, well, he's only been a head coach for a couple of years. How could you be so influential? Prior to that, he was an assistant coach in the NBA for 2 decades. And really built a nice reputation.
And whether it's Houston or Boston, he's always played that key role in creating the stingy defensive schemes that he's known for. Obviously, he's taken those to Chicago now. The Bulls have been one of the best defensive clubs in the league the last couple of years. So, Tom Thibodeau, no question, an excellent defensive coach.
Catching up on the changes for Cleveland. Zeller is checked in for Bergeron. Spates comes in for Tristan Thompson. And Alonzo G subbed in for Waiters. And the Cavaliers with possession here. 4-point game. Irving dishes to G. And he finishes on the layup. G's got his first 2 points.
Nice touch near the hoop.
Rose kicks to Heinrich. Pass to Gibson. That one goes. Count. Now Irving. He's got 10. Feeds to G. The rebound by Gibson.
Well, they're able to track that one down, but they've got to pick up the rebound a little bit.
Yeah, and that's something to keep an eye on, guys. I mean, it's still early right now, and those slight disadvantages can grow if you don't make the proper adjustments. You know, Cleveland had a lot of positives to build off of last season, Kevin, but one of the areas where they still struggled was games within the division. Not a good showing in that central division for the Cavaliers.
It's the Bulls with the ball. Cavaliers making the shot. Heinrich hits the booster. That's down. Using his post move to get the 2 points. Boozer's got 8 points.
He stepped up this quarter, providing a hot hand to help carry them offensively. Well, we've got a moment to look back at last year's Bulls. First in rebound, third in block. And they showed up in the top 5 in three-point percentage. That's elite level when you talk about knocking down threes.
But when you think about this club, the first thing that comes to mind is their ability to rebound the ball. Best in the league, so physical. They just pounded the glass, and that's how they tried to win games, just by being more physical than their opponents.
Hamilton. It's good. This game is all even.
Well, everyone seems to have the hot hand here early on.
You know, if they keep up this scoring pace, we'll definitely see some big point totals in both of these teams.
Back to the Cavs in the Central Division. The Central Division, a tough one. Since Clark firsthand, Cavs should have done better though than a 3-12 record.
Well, you know you're going to have all kinds of trouble with Indiana and Chicago. But, yeah, I think they could have done a little bit better. You know, you have some beatable teams in there with Detroit and Milwaukee. But that's the way it goes sometimes. You get into a rut, you're having a bad season, bad bad spell, it can get away from you in a hurry.
St. Ellington's checked in for the Cavaliers. Kyrie Irving comes in for Sean Livingston.
Well, he earned that one. Took the hit and still found a way to knock it down.
Yeah, fantastic body control. And the will to get it done. You like that focus.
Cavaliers making a switch here. Gibson's checked in.
You know what? Even though it didn't end the way the Bulls wanted it to, it was still another solid season. They were a force on the road.
Now here's Gibson. He's covered by Rose. Gibson passes to Bergeron. Ellington looking to end the run. It's hauled in by the Bulls. Noah's got his third rebound.
What a huge play. Guys, I'm going to need just a second to get myself together here.
Leaves you speechless, doesn't it, Clark? Wow.
Man, I don't blame you, Clark. That dunk is unbelievable.
And that was Sprite bringing you the close-up on that big-time play. Gibson for three. Here's Bergeron. No good trying to beat the buzzer. No shortage of scoring here at the end of the first quarter. Bulls lead by 5. Let's take a quick...
Tune in next Thursday. Kevin Durant of the Oklahoma City Thunder go up against Luol Deng and the Chicago Bulls.
Second quarter getting ready to start up. Before we move on, what do you guys think about what we've seen so far from the Bulls?
I was impressed with their transition game, guys. They really got out and ran the lanes.
Yeah, they did. I mean, no better way to get easy buckets than through fast break.
C.J. Miles is out there, Maurice Spates. Then there's Wayne Ellington. Then it's Tyler Zeller. And it's Gibson in at the point. That's the 5 for Cleveland right now.
Solid advantage in rebounding totals for them so far here.
You know, in every game, but particularly in a close game, every little advantage you can use helps, and they're certainly enjoying one on the glass here.
Kicks to Miles. He feeds it to Zeller. Dishes to Spates. Gibson guarded by Heinrich. Shot clock at 6. Here's Spates. Blocked. Here we go, the Bulls fast break. Gibson dishes to Heinrich. He kicks it to Boozer. Can't hit, and it's the Cavaliers taking it the other way.
Well, you talk about Daniel Boobie Gibson. He's one of those guys who's kind of a shooting guard in a point guard's body. He can help you offensively as long as you figure out how to defend at the other end. That's why his best years were with LeBron James. He could play off the ball on offense, but he could guard the point guard on defense.
Now let's send it to Doris from the sideline.
Guys, it's never been easy for a player to transition from one team to another, but in the case of Rick Hamilton here in Chicago, it's been relatively simple. He says, this team is awesome. Everyone loves each other, holds each other accountable. High praise from someone who has been part of an NBA title team, Kevin.
Well, Doris, that camaraderie, such a key part of winning basketball. So Chicago ends up going with the new group and gets in a player who, throughout his career, has shot a better percentage outside the arc than Clarkie has inside the arc.
Yeah, that's a bit unusual, but for a smaller guy, it can be tough to finish around all those tall players inside. So when the floor is space, that's where he can find room to knock down triples.
Jimmy Butler, he's checked in for the Bulls. The Cavaliers trail by 12. Here's Irving, and that one's good. Irving's got 12 points in the game.
They are in attack mode right now. That's 10 straight points, guys, all coming inside the paint.
And Steve, if I'm them, I'd keep going right to the heart of that defense like they have been until they do something about it. If they don't offer resistance, take everything you can get in there.
And Waiters kicks to G.
I don't think it's possible to make a better pass than that guy.
And he finished so well, Clark, too. Not too shabby on that.
Not bad at all. And it takes perfect timing to pull off that alley-oop. But these two guys seem to have that synergy between each other. And for Byron Scott, coach of the Cavs. Of course, he was one of the great shooters of his time. Played a long time with the Lakers and then hit some big shots for the Indiana Pacers.
Robinson gives to Bellinelli. Here's Amundsen. Hits it. Well done in the second effort. Amundsen's got his first points of the night.
He was not to be denied that time, guys. Fought his way to the glass and came up with the points.
And Nate Robinson picks up the foul. That's his first foul. And for Byron Scott, he played on some great teams and, Steve, for some great coaches.
He sure did. Played, obviously, with those Laker teams. Spent some time in Indianapolis. So Byron Scott knows what it takes to communicate to your players, to share what you're trying to get across. He understands how to win. And he's got a ton of credibility from his players as a result. This is a very steady performance offensively for him.
Tries to save it. Here in the second quarter, just under 3.5 minutes played. And that one's good by Noah. The Cavaliers trail by 14. Now, here is Irving. 11 points for him in that last game against Washington. Let's go with the three. And here we go. Rose, no catch. Throws down the breakaway jam.
And check out your point guard showing you major bounce above the rim.
How about this? The smaller the player, the bigger the highlight.
I love that.
And that was a highlight. Terrific finish.
Here's G. And nothing is falling for him right now.
Another year and another season where the Bulls dominated the backboard. Second straight season here, they have led the league in rebounding.
Bulls and rebounding with the defense they play. One leads to another. Just all part of the well-oiled machine, Steve, they have built in Chicago.
Yeah, Tom Thibodeau deserves so much credit. Obviously, he's got Derrick Rose running the point, but the defensive schemes, the size, the activity, how hard they play on a nightly basis. It's one of the reasons they're such a good rebounding club.
And the Cavaliers with some changes. Luke Walton's checked in for Alonzo G. And Ellington is subbed in for Waiters. And the Bulls making a change here as well. Boozer's checked in. And good on the second, so he makes them both. Oh, my God.
And everything really runs through Rose with this club, Kevin. They like to run shooters off the screens and keep defenses occupied. But really what they're trying to do is move the defense around and give Rose those driving angles that he needs to create havoc.
Yeah, and he's been able to break down his man with regularity, and when he does that, it creates opportunities to find other people. And I think his vision is improving as far as playmaking for others goes, and as he continues to refine that, and he's only going to be more of an MVP candidate.
Here's Boozer. Goes back up. And Noah with a nice bucket inside. Noah's got his second bucket of the game to go.
And this is why they have the big lead. The rebounding has been dominant.
Guys, the +8 rebounding, I don't think it tells the whole story. I mean, they've been the more physical team from the outset. That's been the difference, their physicality. Even though it was a shortened season last year, the Cavs found a way to win more games last season than in the prior year. A big part of that is they were much better at home.
Back to Cleveland, they still weren't great at home, but they made some strides in a big way. They're very high on Kyrie Irving, so they got a lot of things to look forward to, Steve.
Yeah, he is a promising young point guard. Eventually, I think, has a chance to be one of the best point guards in the league. They had a good draft this past summer, Kevin, adding a couple of players, Dion Waiters, a scorer from Syracuse, Tyler Zeller, who will probably be a starting center for the Cavaliers for the next decade. So I think Cleveland is in the midst of a pretty good turnaround right now.
Gibson for three. Good. Gibson's got his first bucket of the game, and he's on the board for three.
He can be dangerous from out there. As a matter of fact, he can be lethal. His first from the arc after having none in the first quarter. Keep an eye on him.
Here's Boozer. And a rebound goes to the Cavaliers.
He's laboring out there right now, guys. The shot has not been falling for him this quarter.
Next up for them, the Bucks in Milwaukee. That's the first of 6 played on the road. Here's Gibson. Rose with the block. Gibson inside. Rises up and throws it down.
And not much resistance on that jam.
Yeah, defensively, you're right. Not a great sequence.
Well, they lost track of him, and they paid the price.
There's Zhao with a screen on Rose. Irving with it, and Rose picks him up defensively. Stolen by Boozer. Over Thompson. It's Boozer again missing.
Right now, he's in a bit of a funk. I look for them to look at other options on offense.
Now let's go to Doris Burke. Doris?
Well, guys, the Chicago Bulls, again, the talk of the town, and it's Derrick Rose leading the charge. He said, I like to see my city happy, especially if I'm one of the reasons why. We went through a lot of years where people didn't really watch the Bulls. For the organization to get our fans back means a lot to me. As a Chicagoan born and bred.
He's become the face of the franchise, Doris. Thank you.
And who wouldn't want to watch him play, Kevin? Absolutely electric.
And it's a completely new group on the floor for the Cavaliers. So Chicago going with an almost entirely new group. Joakim Noah, he's checked in for Gibson. Jimmy Butler comes in for Luol Deng. Kirk Heinrich, he's checked in for Richard Hamilton. And it's Teagan for Derrick Rose. Here's Boozer, no luck. The Cavaliers trail by 21. Raiders with the ball. Still looking to get on the scoreboard. It's stolen by T. For the finish. Flushes it down to finish the break.
We see more and more point guards with that kind of impressive dunking ability, don't we?
Absolutely. We're seeing more and more of that kind of explosiveness. In fact, the point guard now has never been as prominent and as important, I think, in the game than it is right now.
I agree. Some of that is the rule changes, guys. No hand checks. The floor is more spread. But, yeah, this new breed of athletic point guard is so exciting.
It's going to be 2 free throws. Drew contact on the shot. This is his first free throw of the game. That one is off. Alonzo G is checked in for Cleveland. Kyrie Irving comes in for Sean Livingston. May Robinson is checked in for Chicago. And he sinks the second.
Oh my gosh, I just got that.
We've got 28 seconds left now here in the second. Now the feed to G. Back to Irving. Cleveland moving it around. Now the pass to Spates. Here's G. No good. They had a chance to end the run there.
He's far too tentative in the paint. And even more so when the defender is up tight on him like that.
Here's Noah. And he trains it.
That's exactly how you want to close out the quarter with a basket.
Hey, guys.
And through the first half, a pretty lopsided affair. It's the Bulls just dominating this one. And we'll have the start of the second half when we come back after the break. But right now, let's go over to David Bruce with the Sprint halftime.
The Pacers will square off against the Bobcats in Charlotte. That one an all-Eastern Conference affair. 7 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. Pacific is the tip time. And one game also on the docket. The Celtics playing in Boston. They'll go up against the Bucks. And you know what time it is. It's your chance to make your picks for the day. Thanks for joining us. We'll get you back now to Quicken Loans Arena.
Well, it's been a one-sided affair so far through the first 2 quarters, but there's plenty of time to mount a comeback. You look at Kyrie Irving in this game, he has been everywhere.
Yeah, the points have really come in bunches for him so far, and not really a surprise because you know exactly what he can do.
Well, he's been in the groove all game long, Steve, and not too many hiccups in regards to his shooting, but we also have come to expect this from him, so we're not surprised by it.
All fueled up and ready to go. Let's reset the lineups courtesy of Gatorade for the second half of basketball. So for Chicago right now, their front court, Luol Deng, Carlos Boozer, and Joakim Noah in the middle. Rose and Rip Hamilton man the backcourt.
Anytime you talk about making it into the playoffs, you have to be a team that can win games within your conference, and that's exactly where the Cavs struggle. Not a good record against Eastern Conference opponents.
Shots good by Raiders.
Good job creating an easy bucket there.
Rose against Irving. Rose passes to Hamilton. Dang up top. In low to Boozer. Stolen by Thompson. Here's G. Nice D from Dang. That record you're talking about, Clark, for the Cavs, 13-35 against Eastern teams. I got this the second fewest amount of in-conference wins in the whole league. So that is an issue. I think, Steve, they're going to have to obviously rectify that.
Yeah, and that will come. I mean, this is a rebuilding process for Cleveland, and anytime you're in that mode, you know you're going to struggle. And they really struggled against teams in their own conference last year, which is saying something. The East, by far the weaker of the two conferences. Boy, they've been all over the glass. Big advantage in the rebound totals.
Yeah, that's really carried them in this one, guys. I mean, those one-and-dones have really set a nice tone and let them establish this lead.
No good from Hamilton.
And no defender was around him to influence that shot. It didn't hurt them there, but, you know, they can't make that mistake twice.
Deflects the pass. And here's Verajao. Thompson. He's covered by Boozer. Thompson misses.
You know, guys, you take a look at Carlos Boozer. In contrast to the rest of this Chicago front line, he's not really known for his defense. Not a big-time shot blocker, doesn't really elevate, but his rebounding is probably his best asset defensively.
He's as close to impossible to defend as anybody, I think. I mean, he can just torch the defense in so many ways.
Here is the 2K leaderboard with last season's top passing teams. Number 5, the Bulls.
Yeah, wonderful passing team, and it was the kind of basketball that fans love to watch. Very unselfish.
The Cavaliers have gone 4 of 5 from the field since halftime. Very slow start offensively.
And going back to Boozer, you know, defensively he's not great, but offensively he's really a terrific player. Pick and pop situations, he can knock down the jumper. He's got a great left hand around the basket, good touch down on the block. So I think for Chicago he's been a pretty good fit playing alongside Derrick Rose.
Bulls have gone 3 of 5 to start the second half, developing a nice rhythm out there. Hamilton outside.
Get the perimeter!
Clock keeps going. 3 minutes into the second half now. Dang. Over Verajao. Here's Noah. And it's thrown down hard with both hands.
There he goes again, that lower body root canal, clearing out space under the offensive glass.
Yeah, that is an area he absolutely excels in. Dentistry or not.
Does he need Novocaine for that?
And the basket good.
You know, and I think it goes without saying, guys, but his strength and body control scoring in close, that's what makes him special. You can see it with the shooting percentages inside. I mean, he's a tremendous finisher.
And on top of that, Steve, he usually saves his best for last. So many times we've seen him raise his level of play in the fourth quarter, exactly when the game's on the line.
Here's Dang. Again, the miss by Dang. The Cavaliers have gone 2 of 6 from the field here in the third. Shots good by Waiters.
They saw just a little bit of daylight, went right to the rim.
The Bulls have gone 4 of 9 from the floor so far in the third. Back to Rose. Rose off the pick from Noah. Rose with the ball. He's picked up by Irving. In transition, here come the Cavaliers. And out of bounds as the Bulls gain possession.
Kevin, I've got a chance now to look at where the Cavaliers ranked in the NBA last season. 14th in rebounding. 15th in three-point shooting. And as far as steals go, bottom third of the league. That's unacceptable.
Looking at who's out there now for the Cavaliers. Zeller, who's checked in for Verajao. Spates comes in for Tristan Thompson. And it's C.J. Miles in for Alonzo G. And they will get the basket here, folks, as they rule goaltender.
He thought he had that one clean, but the ref saw it differently. They'll count the basket.
Yeah, the fans not agreeing with the call there.
Well, that's one way to get a reaction from the fans, guys.
Alonzo G is checked in for Cleveland. The Bulls making a change here as well. Bellinelli, he's checked in for Nate Robinson. Spates down low. Amundson's there. No good from Spates. The Bulls have gone even 5 of 10 on shot attempts in the third. He dishes it to Bellinelli. Here's Amundsen. Goes up and lays it nice and easy. Amundsen's got his second bucket of the night.
If you don't box him out more effectively than that, he's going to eat you up on the offensive board.
Here's Miles. Here's space. Good.
Yeah, we're now starting to see them get some high percentage shots in the paint.
Yeah, that's 5 of their last 6 buckets inside the lane, so they're getting really high percentage looks down there.
They set the pick. Now the dish to Bellinelli. Shot on the wing, and a great assist by Heinrich as that one goes in. Bellinelli's got his first 2 points of the night.
And you could actually see it on the Bulls' faces and in the body language of the players last season when Rose tore his ACL, Kevin. It just took all of the wind out of their sails.
Heinrich against Irving, and Gibson kicks to Bellinelli. Back to Gibson. And that one's good. Gibson's got his third basket of the night right there. What's interesting is that Rose had missed a lot of time last year with the team in the regular year, but the Bulls weathered the storm. But once they knew it was gone from them having him in the lineup, I'm sure they felt like, well, it's a different story now. And Steve, they acted differently themselves.
Well, it's one thing to weather the storm during the regular season, but to deal with the absence of a superstar in the playoffs is a totally different deal. And you're right, you could see the difference in the Bulls once the playoffs started in terms of their belief in how far they could go.
Here's Butler.
Throw down there, man. Went for the two-hand throw down there. Needed safety and power.
That's how you do it.
Yep.
No, nothing fancy, but he finished with force.
The Sprite replay really gave you a good look at the action. Here's Irving. And good on the basket. Book it. Irving's got 4 this quarter.
And all 10 of their last points have come inside the paint, so defensively you've got to make an adjustment.
Yeah, and you got to do a little more to stop it, too. I mean, it's coming way too easy. At some points, you just got to buck up and say it's not going to happen. Points in the paint have been the main course, or main entree, if you will. They just keep pounding it inside.
Well, they're seeing no resistance defensively in the paint area, so the defense has got to be tougher.
And now, in transition is Heinrich. Here we go. Back to Butler. He passes to Bellinelli. Off target from three-point range. Cavaliers have gone at a pretty good shooting pace. They're 6 of 13 from the field here in the third. The kick out to Irving. Pass to Zeller. Passes it to Miles. He got it up. That misses what he kind of had it gone in. And at the end of the third quarter, a huge lead in this one may already have been decided. It's the Bulls opening up a huge gap. And when we return...
The new season in the NBA rolls on. Drew Holiday of Philadelphia 76ers takes on Carmelo Anthony and the New York Knicks. It's the NBA next Sunday.
Welcome back. Fourth quarter action starting up, and we're going to send it over to Doris Burke for the Sprite Uncontainable Game segment. Doris?
Thanks, guys. Well, it was the stretch by the Bulls that garners the uncontainable game today. The big charge they had right out of the gate set the tone, and that propelled them to this lead as we head to the fourth.
Okay, Doris, thanks. That scoring run, guys, was pretty key in this game so far, don't you think?
Yeah, very much so, Kevin. I mean, that was like a runaway train there for a while. No stopping them. That really blew the game open.
Well, you bet it did. I mean, when you've got one team in such terrific offensive rhythm and the other guys on their back feet, tentative, hesitant, it almost always leads to runs like that.
We've got Luke Walton. Livingston is up.
Hammer time! Boy, that's almost unfair. I mean, who else can you think of with the ability to explode to the rim like that?
Well, there aren't many of them out there, Clark. You're absolutely right. Steve, unbelievable.
Yeah, that's the reason the fans love watching this guy. He's one of the league's top athletes.
And the highlight reel replay. Brought to you by Sprite. Good stuff. Here's Ellington. Rebound by Butler. Now T. Here's Gibson. The rebound by Walton.
That's what they call the $1 million move with the 10-cent finish.
Good luck. No good from Gibson. The Bulls have gone 1 of 3 from the field to start the fourth quarter. Robinson against Gibson. Tries it from the top of the key. Robinson misses. Cavaliers have gone 0 of 3 to start the fourth quarter. Puts it up. Livingston, no luck.
Boy, for my taste, he's far too inconsistent with that shot. I mean, he's got to make those if he's going to take his game to the next level.
Robinson kicks to Butler. Misses in close.
You know, typically, guys, he has the body control to finish when he's in that tight. I'm not sure what happened there.
Feeds it to Gibson. Stolen by Robinson. The finish. Rips down the breakaway slam.
Boy, that happened fast. Just the immediate bucket off the steal.
Well, one of the things they have is the ability to score quickly after a turnover.
And Nate Robinson picks up the foul. That's foul number 2 for him.
Well, in the recent collective bargaining agreement, one of the rules that was changed was how the D-League can be used by NBA teams. And it's now been ruled that players with 3 or less years of experience in the league could be sent down. And they've added exceptions after that as well. I think it's a good rule.
Here's Spates. And it's Chicago with the rebound. Following this one, they get to host the Hornets. That game marks the start of a 5-game homestand, the longest of the season.
Yeah, I'll be looking forward to seeing how that New Orleans game turns out for sure.
Going back to the D-League, Steve, it really does seem to be a better use of the league for the NBA. Now they can grow young talent a little easier.
I think it makes perfect sense. Sometimes a player might be injured, maybe he's a rehab assignment in the D-League. It makes the D-League more viable, but it also gives the teams and the players more opportunities to help the player.
T dishes to Bellinelli. T. Kicks it to Bellinelli. And blocked. Here is Livingston. It's tipped off his foot. And they're saying he kicked the ball. Zeller is checked in for Cleveland. And the Bulls making a change also. Heinrich's checked in. Zeller passes to Livingston. And Kirk Heinrich picks up the foul. That's his first foul.
You know, guys, when you look around the league, it seems like a lot of the starting centers around the NBA are from that 2008 draft class. Not often you see so many quality bigs come out of the same year.
That'll be a 5-second call. And here's what the Chicago Bulls schedule is looking like. Following this one, they get to host the Hornets. And that will be the first game of 5 straight at home.
Yeah, no question for the Thunder. That's a game they'd really like to have.
A bit under 3.5 minutes have passed here in the fourth. Gets it to go. And Steve, that point you made about the 2008 big men. Brook Lopez was the first taken and lasted until pick 10.
Yeah, and you know, maybe the best one of all actually lasted well into the first round. And that was Roy Hibbert, who just signed a max deal with the Pacers. But you also had JaVale McGee, Robin Lopez, Ibaka, DeAndre Jordan. So a lot of talented big men in that class.
They get it back. Shot's good by Gibson.
You gotta love the low post offense. That was beautiful.
Cavaliers have gone 2 of 7 from the field in what's been a cold start to the fourth quarter for them. And Gibson kicks to Zeller. Over Gibson. Shot by Zeller, no good.
Hey, the defense was right there, just waiting, doing a nice job of anticipating that play.
Steve, every team needs tough interior defense to be successful.
That's blocked. Now Walt dishes it to Livingston. He feeds it to Spates. Gibson with the steal. Walton against Heinrich.
Guys, we've often discussed the way medicine is helping players do their jobs better. But one thing that I think is getting more and more attention is the danger of head trauma and concussions, and that's across all sports. The NBA introduced a new concussion policy to help ensure player safety, and I think it was really an essential and necessary improvement.
Gibson down low. Walton defending. Shot's good by Gibson. The Cavaliers shooting has been a little ragged, just 38% from the field. And you mentioned, Clark, the new concussion policy. In the past, it was at the team's discretion. And I'm looking over at you over this side and looking at Steve over here on my other side. And the players may have re-entered the action too soon. You guys may have even been involved in that yourselves.
I think I was, Kevin, a couple times, which explains some of my comments, by the way. In all seriousness, it's a serious issue, and I think it's great that the NBA has taken precautions to really avoid any problems in the future and make sure that the players are tested before they're allowed to get back out onto the court.
Wayne Ellington's checked in for Daniel Gibson. Chicago also making some changes. May Robinson is checked in for Bellinelli. And it's Teagan for Kirk Heinrich. Robinson, that's good.
Well, I like that. They ran to the three-point line and got an uncontested look there in transition.
Livingston dishes to Spates. He kicks it to Ellington. Zeller. He's against Amundsen. Shoots. Shot by Zeller, no good. The Bulls have gone 7 of 16 from the field here in the fourth. That's about 43%. Robinson misses.
Tough to hit that shot when you got the defense right in your shirt.
To the inside. Butler with the steal. Now here comes Teague, leading the break. Robinson. Here's Gibson. A rebound by Walton. Walton's got 3 rebounds now in this one. Spates kicks to Walton. Lets it go from the wing. Rebound by the Bulls. Amundsen's got 6 rebounds now in the game. Teague, the pass to Butler. 2-on-1 as they jump out on the break. Livingston dishes to Spates. And it's good, assisting on the play with Livingston.
This defense is porous right now. I mean, way too many looks coming from inside the paint.
Now, it's 4 straight buckets now in the paint, and anybody in the NBA is going to make shots from there.
The Cavaliers shoot. 104 left in the fourth quarter. Ellington from outside. That is good.
They're simply living and dying from behind the arc in this second half. I don't think that's the way to go here. They're trailing. The three-point shot can be used. They've got to balance it out.
Now here's Zeller. T right on him. The feed to Spates. Makes the lead pass. And there's Zeller. That's good on the assistant Spates. Well, the Bulls shooting only 35% in the fourth quarter. The offense looking a little rickety. Here's Robinson. Shot goes down. Very quick possession right there.
And this one is just about over. It's going to be an easy win for them in the end.
Yep, I think they can just about put this one on cruise control for the last few seconds here. Just got a little careless on that pass. They should be able to connect on those.
27 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Bulls shooting at 52% from the field. They're clicking. Gibson setting a pick for T. Over Livingston. They get the rebound. And Gibson kicks to T. Outside Robinson. And there's the pass to Gibson. Back to Robinson. And so Chicago takes this one.